know this guy. Michael McFaul.
He's such a weirdo.
Oh my, this guy is fucking unbelievable. He's a character. He is like, there's no war that he never cheered on.
No.
And he's like a hardcore apologist for the Banderite Ukrainian regime. And he also great friends, like on a first name basis with Alexei Navalny. So if you see someone who's a passionate defender of Banderites in Ukraine and he is good friends with Alexei Navalny, a Nazi, what does that make him, fam? It is not an exaggeration to say Michael McFaul is literally a Nazi. He is a Nazi supporter. He supports Nazis all over the world. So the reason why Alexei Navalny only has around a 6 to 8% approval rating, I see the number float from around 2 to 8%. There was a 2020 poll that had him around 6 to 11%. But the reason why he despises Russia is because Russia hates Nazis. They're the one who defeated Nazis. Yes. They have tens of millions of people who died because of Nazis. That's why Alexei Navalny would never stood a chance at defeating Putin. And then when he failed to defeat Putin because he had disgusting Nazi, the West said that Putin rigged his elections. And he did have to rig an election against this fucking clown.
Well, anyway, you know what's funny? Well, really quick before you play this, I don't know if you're familiar with Che Bose. He's from Ireland. He's fantastic. He's been on my show before. But everybody was making this big deal about Navalny just died, and there are people coming to like leave flowers at this place. So Che lives in Russia, so he went to the place where all these people were supposed to be gathering. There were 4 cops and 13 people. That's it. That's how popular Alexei Navalny is in Russia. Nobody's there. Nobody gives a fuck. Hilarious. Nobody likes Alexei Navalny. Russians hated Alexei Navalny. That's what I'm saying. Like when we were talking about this makes no sense for Putin to do it. Alexei Navalny was no threat to him. Period. No threat. Zero threat. It's absurd. This guy's such a douche.
They are in an election year. He's not even running against him. Like what the? Yeah. If he's gonna kill someone, when he kill the people that's running against, like they don't even think. But let me get to this video. Because I could have picked so many videos to see, and I was almost obsessed with watching these videos because they keep trying to paint funny. I think it's funny. Like me and CJ explained before, like corporate media used to make me angry when I watch it. And there's still some segments that do, like especially if you like the Jesse Waters and Laura Ingraham, like they're just annoying. Like, I can't do them. Yeah. But like the Neil Khan, like this is like state media. You know what I mean? Yeah. This media is kind of funny to me because they are so desperate to propagandize people. Like, I went from being frustrated from watching this to me and CJ. We talked about it before. Like, bro, we watch this shit like it's a comedy. Like, you guys really saying this and you pass this off and people believe in it. So let's play it. You know, Michael McFaul immediately had to go on MSNBC once his news broke. So you're gonna have a lot to say to this, Misty. So I'm gonna let it play. Feel free to interrupt me anytime, my friend.
Ambassador to Russia, now director of the Institute for International Studies at Stanford, and an NBC News international affairs analyst, Michael McFaul. Ambassador, thanks for being with us. I mentioned a few minutes ago on this show your reaction on Twitter. I'd like to hear more from you here, and also what more you're hearing about this from your contacts inside Russia.
Guys, I don't know what to say. I'm going to try to be analytic, but I want you to know Alexei Navalny was my friend. I was with.
What do you call someone who's a friend with Nazis?
A Nazi. Pretty simple.
His wife last.
Very simple questions, guys. We're using language how they must be used.
Tonight, I'm here in Munich talking to her. Yeah. His daughter, Dasha, goes to school at Stanford. So this is a pretty emotional time for me. Putin.
He's on first name basis.
Fucking course she does. She goes to school in Stanford. You know.
Oh yes, I'm glad he caught that. He caught that. Let me play that part again. I want you to try and explain more because I caught that the first time I listened to it.
His daughter Dasha goes to school at Stanford, so
we like to educate our assets here in the States. We did that with Juan Guaido. We did that. We've done that with Benjamin Netanyahu. We like to do that. That's a thing that we do. So yeah, of course she goes to Stanford. No question about it. By the way, Benjamin Netanyahu's son is currently hanging out in Florida. Yeah, this is what we do. I mean, this is how the CIA operates.
He's on first name basis with these people. He's open to the fact that he's cool with people in Ukraine intelligence, the CIA. And remember how in the beginning of the segment they say he got contacts in Russia. He's talking about CIA, fam, intelligence, and spooks. They're just open about it. That's why this is funny to me, Misty. Like these segments are funny to me to do now because they are open about.
Nick froze. Oh, you froze for a minute. Oh, there you go. You're back now. You froze.
Oh, bro, I almost had a heart attack.
I about panicked. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to carry the show until he comes back. I was panicking.
When I watch corporate media, the point is corporate media is so funny to me because they are so obvious now about the bullshit, but people still believe it. Like,
they don't have to hide it anymore. Remember Operation Paperclip? They had to kind of hide it. They had to hire people in kind of on the sly and craft narratives that way. Now they're just like, hey, here's a former spook as a contributing member of MSNBC. Here's a former NSA agent who's going to join our Sunday morning news panel. They don't hide it anymore. They just put them right up there. Here you go.
Yeah, I have brothers who love pro wrestling. I like pro wrestling. I think pro wrestling is funny. Like, it's funny to me to watch, and they're very talented. They're very talented stuntmen. Like, what they do is very fascinating to me to watch, especially as they get older. Like, I see what they're doing, like with their body. Like, damn, it's crazy. Yeah. But they and my brothers, I'm surrounded by a ton of people passionate about wrestling. I like it too. I think it's a great spectacle to watch. The thing is, we all in on it though. We all know it's fake. It's entertainment to us. It's the same way. It's the same way you watch like an action movie, a comedy, or whatever. You know, the people who like don't really exist, but who are clowns. Like, there's no one who is watching pro wrestling thinking that shit is real. You know what I mean? There's no one watching pro wrestling that think Roman Reigns really hates Cody Rhodes. There's no one who really think that Triple H hates the Rock. No one really believes that. But the people who watch corporate media for news, these are the motherfuckers who watch pro wrestling like this shit is real.
Yes.
That's what I view them as now. They watch pro wrestling like it's fucking real. That's what they do on corporate media.
It's crazy.
Let's continue.
His daughter, Dasha, goes to school at Stanford. So this is a pretty emotional time for me. Putin killed Navalny. Let's be crystal clear about that. I don't care about any investigation, his arrested. Had him in solitary confinement. He has put him in a cell which was designed to, and today he is dead. Putin killed Navalny. And why did he? Because
by the way, that's not my internet. I watched this video earlier. I think Michael McFaul had a bad connection. You see that skipping?
Yeah.
That's not me. That's part of the video. Watch on your own. I promise you. That has nothing to do with me. I think he had a bad connection. I know that when I first watched the interview, but I'll let it continue.
And today he is dead. Putin killed Navalny. And why did he? Because Putin is weak. You don't kill people if you're strong. Putin killed Navalny because Navalny was the one opposition leader in Russia that Putin feared the most. So,
What?
Can we just talk about the way that they want us to simultaneously believe that Vladimir Putin is weak and fragile. Remember when they were trying to convince us that he was going to die? Oh, he's going to die. He's got cancer. He's going to die. And then they also, so he's very weak, right? But also he's so powerful that he's going to take over the world. And simultaneously, they want you to believe those two things at the same time. That doesn't make any sense. You don't get to have it both ways, okay?
I promise you, I know these guys sound outrageous, but every single news channel, I picked this one because Michael McFaul the most outrageous. But I could pick so many segments. I just want to show you just one example of what the media is saying about this. This fucking blatant lie that Putin had to kill him because Navalny was like on the urge of a breakout. Like, what do you guys think was gonna happen if Putin did not kill him? That he was gonna have the people gonna rise up, free him from prison, and all of a sudden he's gonna skyrocket to the polls, and they're gonna vote fascism out because they think Putin's a fascist. They're gonna go to the polls, they're gonna vote Putin out. Like, what are you saying? Do people even realize what they're saying to you guys? That's scary as shit.
Yeah.
Let me play this part again. I'll let it continue, but feel free to interrupt if you want to. I'll play the part again. It's such blatant bullshit.
Putin is weak. You don't kill people if you're strong. Putin killed Navalny because Navalny was the one opposition leader in Russia that Putin feared the most. So this is a really tragic day for me, and it should be a tragic day for anybody who cares about democracy. Navalny, in my view, put him in the category.
Democracy is when you side with intelligence agencies of foreign countries to overthrow your country. You know, Russiagate, the thing that you guys said Trump did. You guys realize that this guy did the most exaggerated version of Russiagate. The most intense, hardcore Rachel Maddow level of Russiagate is literally what this guy did. Like, he took money from the MI6 and CIA in order to start a color revolution to overthrow the will of the Russian people.
That's democracy. We got to save democracy. Democracy's on the ballot. Like, you know that meme? I think it's a Simpsons meme where they're like, say it. And then they say the thing. When he said that, that's why I laughed so hard, because it reminded me of that, because they always do that. This should matter to anybody who cares about democracy. Michael McFaul doesn't give a shit about democracy. I mean, it's just this bullshit buzzword propaganda garbage is just so infantile. And it's just, honestly, it's a little embarrassing that it works on people. I mean, I understand propaganda is very powerful. I understand, like I study it. I get it. But it's also, to me, and I realize I'm probably more than a little biased, because I do have such I sound like such an asshole right now, but I do have such a wide girth of knowledge about the situation. I'm not an expert. I realize I sound like kind of an asshole right now. I don't mean to, I'm not like trying to big up myself, but what I'm trying to say is that because I know, I recognize that it's so much easier for me to spot, but it's just so unbelievably obvious and stupid and silly. And it's kind of like the COVID stuff. I shouldn't say that on YouTube. Sorry. The thing, with the thing, then all of that stuff. Yeah. But like, if you went to and I realize I said girth, I shouldn't have. Sorry, guys. But like, if you go to a restaurant, you have to wear your face covering when you're walking to the table, but then when you sit down, you can take it off because it's tall. Like, that kind of stuff is so obvious to me, and people fall for it. And that, I think, is what fascinates me about propaganda, is the way how effective it is, regardless of how stupid it is. And this shit's stupid. I hope you guys are find this as enjoyable as I am, because I find their tears hilarious. That's and funny. I find this, and I saw someone put a comment, I'll put it up here, where he said this is SNL, this is funnier than SNL. Yeah, this to me, this is fucking pure comedy that people fall for this at this point. Like, this is pure, like, so for one, he said it's he pretends he's a champion of democracy, but he's a big fan of the Banderite regime. That's what he's been most known for. Like, he's a big Banderite fascist Ukraine supporter that got power because of a coup. Yes.
The same government, the Zelensky government, that banned collective bargaining rights for workers. That's anti-democracy. They ban oppositional parties, except the fascist ones.
Yeah.
You know how you ban opposition media? That's the democracy that Michael McFaul supports. So of course he supports this Nazi Alexei Navalny. What do you call someone who supports Nazis around the world, my friends?
Nazis.
Let's continue. I'm gonna try to get through this. We almost done with the stream. There's gonna be like a one topic.
I'll stop interrupting.
No, you're good. You're good. This is fun. But this is gonna be a one-on-one topic streams. That's what I'm gonna do on Saturday. I think, I got one more thing I'm gonna show. I got one more other video I'm gonna show you guys. But just to let you know, Misty, we're almost done. But we're having fun time, right?
Oh, I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah.
We're brave, courageous leaders that, remember, he went back to Russia. He didn't have to go back. He went back for his country because he's a patriot that believed that his country could be different.
Bro, I'm sorry to interrupt it again, guys, but you are not a fucking patriot if you're siding with intelligence agencies of hostile foreign governments to overthrow the will of their people.
Yeah.
He called it, if you side with the CIA over your people, you are not a patriot. You are traitorous scum.
Yeah. And you didn't, you're not courageous for going back to Russia to work for the CIA. Like, he went back to Russia for a reason. He didn't just go back because he's so brave. He went back because he was working for the CIA. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
A lot of people excited for Jon Stewart being back, but why you even need to watch these fucking idiots? Don't
get me started on Jon Stewart.
Yeah, don't get me started either. Let's continue. That's a whole nother fucking topic.
Yes.
Let's continue. I'm happy he pissed a lot of liberals off with his age, but you gotta know that Jon Stewart, his biggest criticism with Democrats, he doesn't object morally to what they do. He's upset because they're not good at defeating Republicans.
Yes.
Now that you know that, watch all of his content with that in mind, and everything makes sense. He's a shit lib, and he's rooting for Democrats. When he criticizes Democrats, he criticizes them because he wants Republicans to lose. So he went after Biden for his age. He's like, guys, this is a problem here. Like, he's not morally objecting to Democrats. But I'll keep it short, so that's my You have anything you want to say? I don't want to cut you off. Anything you
the
want to say?
Jon Stewart thing coming out because Joe, criticizing Joe Biden, he is setting the stage for Joe Biden to be replaced. That is what is happening. Jon Stewart is very often brought out to shift the narrative. He did it with the I'm trying to the same thing I was talking about earlier. The lab part of that, he went on Colbert and was talking about the lab leak theory thing. And that suddenly it was okay to question that. Suddenly Jon Stewart is very often brought out to shift narratives and when they need them to be shifted. And that is what that's what his role is. He is controlled.
That's a fantastic point, but let's continue. And we read some super chats after this video, and I'm gonna show you guys after this. Joe Biden. I don't want to spoil it. Actually, I don't want to spoil it. Let's continue. I don't want to spoil it.
I put him in the same ranks as the Navalny of Mandela and.
Oh my God, I forgot about that part. You guys hear what he said? He put Navalny. I paused it right before the good part.
Oh my God, I was not ready.
I'm in shambles. Let's play it again. I'm in shambles. Let's play it again. I paused it right before the good part.
For his country, because he was a patriot that believed that his country could be different. I put him in the same ranks as the Navalny of Mandela and.
I can't.
I was not ready for that, Nick. I was not ready.
Bro, do people realize the comedy that passes on news on our country, bro? This is comedy, bro. Like this is. Like if we was to do like an RBN sketch show and we was to like imitate a fucking shit lib neocon and we did that, you guys are like, come on, man. Come on. They wouldn't say Mandela. They wouldn't compare it to man. Like imagine we did a skit. You guys overreached with that joke. That's real.
He just said that out loud.
It's so offensive, it's funny. Like
yes.
Me and CJ, we joke, and Dave Chappelle had a funny joke where like every once in a while you would see something so racist, it was like, God damn, that'd be like kind of funny. Like that's how offensive this is. Comparing him to Mandela, like what? I'm in shambles.
I was not ready for that at all.
Shambles.
Not ready. Oh dear God.
I don't want to comment on it. I don't have to comment on it because I think the statement stands alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't need to add. No, I don't need to add anything. Like that. I think my face when that came out of his mouth is probably common enough. I was not ready for that shit.
Bro,
that was ridiculous.
We're not even halfway through the video. Now I'm all flipped up because that shit threw me all the way off. I'll let play a bit. I think I said anything I want to say, but feel free to interrupt, Misty.
Okay.
This dude's a cartoon character.
I'll just let you play.
This guy has millions of subscribers. Liberals love him. I know a lot of those numbers are deflated or whatever.
Yes.
We acknowledge that. But he's still like the darling among the liberal class. Or inflated numbers or not. And he's a cartoon character. Let's continue.
And
I want to make sure I get that part in again.
A patriot that believed that his country could be different. I put him in the same ranks as the Navalny of Mandela and Valenza and Havel, but with one tragic difference now. Navalny is dead.
Ambassador, I'm so sorry. I know he was a close friend of yours, and I didn't know you were with his wife last night. Can you remind our viewers, because sometimes it's lost, they know the name, but they don't know the full story, about the lengths to which Alexei Navalny went to fight the corrupt government, the authoritarianism of Vladimir Putin. As you said, even after he was poisoned, he voluntarily returned to this country.
We're doing that
out in a way that ultimately.
Feel free to explain why that's bullshit. I'm gonna let it play, but hold on to that thought. You can explain why that's bullshit. You can take from here, but I'm gonna let it play for a bit.
Cost him his life.
Well, that's right. So let's remember, yes, Alexei Navalny was a young opposition leader, mostly focused on anti-corruption. And what corrupt leaders fear the most are foundations, his AntiCorruption Foundation that was focused on
this man tried to take a 10 to 20 million bribe from the MI6. He tried to partner
10 to 20 million a year.
That is textbook corruption.
Yes.
The definition of corruption is if you're working with a fucking hostile intelligence agency and taking payment for them. He says he's I'm sorry, I broke my own rule. I said I was gonna let it play.
It's okay.
Misty, you want to chime in? I'll let.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
That was so absurd. I broke my rule. I'll let it play some more.
His AntiCorruption Foundation that was focused on that. And back in 2011 and 2012, when there were hundreds of thousands of people on the streets of Moscow. I think a lot of Americans and maybe most of the world have forgotten that. But that's when I was ambassador. There were hundreds of thousands of people rallying at Navalny's demonstrations, anti-corruption and for democracy. And it was, I think, important to remember that there was a time when millions of people supported people like Mr. Navalny. He ran for mayor in the following year, in 2013. He was not allowed to campaign. He was not allowed on TV, and he gained almost a third of the votes. So he was a popular leader that, remember, Putin tried to kill him before. He poisoned him very clearly. He was shipped out of Germany. They barely survived. And on that moment, he finally recovered. Many people said, Alexei, do not go back. I was in touch with him right before he flew back. But he said to me, Mike, this is my country. I'm not going to let this guy chase me out of it. And as he arrived, they put him in prison. They arrested him. He's been in prison ever since. And that the conditions under which he's been living over the last several years have been worse and worse and worse. And gradually that, I think, I mean, well, let's wait till we see all the autopsy and all that. But let's be crystal clear. They were slowly killing him, and he was killed today because he was the greatest threat to Putin's corrupt rule.
Oh my God.
Misty, you want to take this on? I know that was hard.
Painful. Like, this shit is painful. Just because it's so dumb. I love that he said very clearly. No, not very clearly. There's no clear. There's zero clearness about that situation. And it's, again, it's absurd that Putin would go to those links. You know what I mean? Navalny really, I guess Navalny, if you're Putin, Navalny does pose sort of a threat because you know that he is attempting to work with the CIA to do a color revolution, to overthrow your government, all of that stuff. But when he's in prison, I think that there's, I'm highly skeptical that Putin would ever kill him at this point.
I didn't know where he was at.
Right?
You follow that story where people didn't know where he was at? Like, people were like, oh, we don't know where Navalny's at. Like, a lot of people lost track of him. Putin probably didn't know where this motherfucker was. They said he was like in some Arctic penal colony or whatever.
I don't know.
Putin is so busy managing a war, you know, dealing with relationship with China, handling Britain. I think he don't even know where this guy is at, probably. No. You know what I mean?
He might know where he's at, but I don't think that that's like not even on his top 100 things of the issues that he needs to be worried about today. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's being people are attacking him from all different angles. He's trying to, I mean, there's a whole lot of shit that Vladimir Putin is dealing with. It just makes no sense whatsoever. But I also, and I'm sorry to bring it back to Assange, but that's what I do. So actually, I'm not sorry. Yeah, but it's mind blowing to me that these douchebags can sit here and lament about the poor conditions that Alexei Navalny was being kept in. He tried to overthrow his government. He was being held in prison. I'm pretty sure that's where you should go if you try to overthrow your government. But they don't have shit to say, not a goddamn word to say about the conditions that Julian Assange is being held in. He's being held in the Guantanamo. They call it the Guantanamo of the UK, Belmarsh prison, with no charges. Dude, no charges, zero charges. He's been held for nearly 5 years. April 19th, it will be 5 years that this guy has been held in Belmarsh prison, waiting for whatever is going to happen to happen. And before that, he's really been in some form of illegal and arbitrary detention for over a decade, 13, 14 years now. Not one of these motherfuckers has a single word to say about that. Not one of these motherfuckers wants to call out Donald Trump for being the one to have him arrested or Joe Biden for continuing the persecution. None of them want to have any conversation about that. But poor Alexei Navalny. I don't give one flying fuck about Alexei Navalny. And the hypocrisy of you, again, finger wagging of Vladimir Putin as your government is currently torturing a journalist to death. I got no time for it. I got no time for it.